For interview point of view, as I said, the important is air cooled and water cooled chiller. So we'll discuss in detail. But in order to understand this air cooled and water cooled chiller, first you must know this shell and tube heat exchanger, because in air cooled as well as in water cooled, you'll find shell and tube evaporator. And in water cooled, you'll find shell and tube evaporator as well as shell and tube condenser. So this shell and tube heat exchanger, first you must have the idea. This is simple. You can find on this image. You see why we are calling shell and tube. The outer one, this is a section view. The outer one is a shell, this one, and inside you'll find the tubes. You see, these are all tubes. So here you see, for example, I'm using this shell and tube as, say, evaporator, for example, or else, okay, we can take as a condenser, because you can able to understand this as a condenser easily, because you know the vapor compression cycle. So if I use this as a condenser, this is used to cool the refrigerant by using water. If I use this as an evaporator, then this is used to cool the water by using refrigerant. Okay, so in both the cases it heat exchanger, but it is going to be in reverse. So just try to understand in any one option. For example, you can consider as a condenser or evaporator. So let me show you this water in and out first. You see here, this red color you can consider as a hot H2O in, means hot water in, and this blue color you can consider as a H2O, this cold, H2 out. In as hot and out as cold. It means this shell and tube I'm using as a condenser. Okay, because this is used to, sorry, my mistake. This is used, I'm using this as a evaporator, because this is used to cool the water. Na? If I use this to cool the refrigerant, that case is going to be condenser. But in this image, since this inlet is red color represent hot and the cold color represent, sorry, the blue color represent this cold. So we can consider, as per this image, this we can consider this as evaporator. So water in from this and water out this, and the water is going to be circulate inside this shell, not in the tube. Okay, you see, and in the shell you'll find the baffles. Baffle is like this will guide the water. For example, if I remove these baffles, what will happen? The water will enter and it will create a lot of turbulency, and the baffle will provide that guide to the water. You see here, the water can go up, then down. So you'll find this path, so it can extract or it can exchange the heat efficiently. This is a construction for this heat exchanger. Okay, so water in and out in the shell, and you see, you can consider the refrigerant in as here, this is refrigerant in, and this we can consider as a refrigerant out, and the refrigerant will in the tube, and this you'll find here, you'll find a divider. The chill refrigerant will enter in these tubes, and you see here it may return and come out as a hot refrigerant. So this refrigerant is used to extract the heat from the water. Okay, so this we can call as a heat exchanger, and in this case this is a, sorry, evaporator, because this is used to cool the water. No? Simple process. So remember, in the shell the water is going to circulate, in the tube the refrigerant is going to circulate. In the normal case, we have flooded type shell and tube evaporator also. In that case, the case is going to be reverse. That is for higher capacity. But in most commonly in the chiller, air cooled and water cooled, except the higher capacities, in the shell you will find water, and in the tube you will find refrigerant, and this we can call as a shell and tube heat exchanger. Can be used for condenser, can be used for evaporator. And the same I'll show you in the air cooled chiller as well as in water cooled chiller. In air cooled chiller and in air and water cooled chiller, this we are using as evaporator. Plus in water cooled chiller, the same heat exchanger you'll find for condenser also. So I think you got the idea what is shell and tube heat exchanger. Next we'll talk about this air cooled chiller. First, till now what we discuss, this VRF system, the refrigerant is responsible to cool the air. But now in chill water system, the chill water is responsible to cool the air, and that water we are going to, from the water we are going to reject the heat to the refrigerant. Okay, that is a major difference between the DX and the chill water system. So here you can try to understand with the line diagram. I'll show you with the drawing also, but first some idea. You see, this is the air cooled chiller which we can place outside the building on the roof. or outside the building. We cannot place inside the building because we are using this air-cooled condenser. I'll show you some images to get the clear idea. So this is complete air-cooled chiller, and this pump at this level we can call as a primary pump. In actual practice, you'll find only primary or primary plus secondary, or you may find primary plus secondary plus tertiary for big project. That we'll discuss in part 5 in detail. At this level, just I'm trying to explain the concept of air-cooled and water-cooled chiller. So this is an air-cooled chiller, and this you can consider as a chill water pump, primary, and you can consider this as AHU1, AHU2. Forget about this boiler. In that you'll find the heating system also that we'll discuss later. At this level, just we're focusing on this chiller. So you see, from this chiller, the chill water is going to be circulate and supply in what? Cooling coil of evaporator. And this evaporator can be inside the AHU or can be inside this FCU to cool the air. Further with more details, let me open one drawing. With that, you can try to understand the clear concept. But before this, let me show you some images. You'll get the idea. This is an installation of a chiller with a crane. Belongs to a Oman project. They're doing the preparation and all. You see, in this, the above one, these are all condenser. You see, this is air-cooled condenser. You can find the fins. Inside, you'll find the tubes. And this is shell and tube evaporator. And you'll find the expansion. And other side, you'll find the compressors also. You see, inside this cabinet, you'll find the compressor. I'll show you the closer view. And this is a foundation you need to prepare before installing this chiller. And in between the foundation and the chiller, will use the isolator also to reduce the vibration. Some additional points related to installation, but at this level, just try to find out the different components of the chiller. Now you see, here in this chiller, here 3 cabinets, here 3 cabinets, so total 6 compressor. And in between, this is a electrical control, and above that you'll find all condenser, and on the top you'll find the fan. So with this construction, you can find say air-cooled chiller, and we are placing outside, because in water-cooled chiller you'll not find the fans. In air-cooled chiller only you'll find the fan, because the major difference between air-cooled and water-cooled is the condensing side only. Okay, we'll do the conclusion at the end. Let me proceed. You can find the closer view of the fins. Inside you'll find the tube. So this is a coil heat exchanger for condenser. And you can verify the fans also from the top view. These are all condenser fan used to cool the condenser. And you know the vapor compressor cycle, the same cycle, but the construction is different. So let me open one drawing to understand this cycle on screen. You see, in chiller you'll find 2 cycle. At this level, I'm talking about air-cooled chiller. In air-cooled chiller, you'll find 2 cycle. One is a primary cycle and second is a secondary cycle. And inside this chiller, you see this compressor. These are all multiple compressor, and here added 1 condenser, but you'll find the n number of condensers, an expansion, and a shell and tube evaporator. Okay, and this complete we can call as a primary cycle or refrigeration cycle. And you already are aware of this. I'm talking about vapor compression cycle. But in chiller, we used to call this as a primary cycle, because in chiller, you'll find the secondary cycle also. And this piping, you see, from the chiller, you can see the direction of water. You see, chill water out and this chill water return. So this cycle we can call as a secondary or chill water cycle. And you know the primary cycle is of copper, and that will take care by the vendor. But if you talk about the secondary cycle, as a HVAC engineer, your role is to design this pipe size. I'm talking about the chill water pipe sizing. And the secondary cycle is of carbon steel. And under carbon steel, you'll find black steel, low carbon steel, or mild steel. Okay, so most commonly in actual practice, in India, you'll find mild steel MS pipes. In Gulf, you'll find black steel of schedule 40. Remember, this is a class of the pipe. We'll discuss more about this in part 5. At this level, just I'm focusing on the cycle, and this also with insulation. I'll show you the preview of this piping also, but let me complete this concept. So you know the cycle, vapor compression cycle. After compression, the refrigerant will enter in the condenser and the expansion. Then it will enter in shell and tube. What in this case, shell and tube evaporator. And what will happen inside the evaporator? Just now we discussed now. So refrigerant in what? Refrigerant in as chill refrigerant, refrigerant out as hot refrigerant. Okay. And you see the direction of water. This is what? H2O in. And this is H2O out. And if you talk about standard temperature, remember the chill water in most or almost all manufacturer catalog, you'll find the standard 54 degree Fahrenheit, and chill water out is 44 degree Fahrenheit. Apart from this, you may find this 50 degree Fahrenheit also as a chill water temperature, but in present market, if you talk about the standard chiller, you'll find this 44 degree Fahrenheit, nothing but we can consider in between 6 to 7 degrees centigrade is a standard temperature of chill water. And based on this, we have the conversion like 1 TR equal to 2.4 GPM. We'll discuss about this at this level. Just remember this point. Now, you see this water in as what? Cold water. And what will happen? Circulate on the coil and loses the heat. And out as what? Is online? Cold water. Yes, out as a chill water. So you see, I use the term cold and chill. So we are not using the hot. We can consider the hot also, but it's not a very hot or a boiled water. So we used to call cold water in, or this in actual practice we used to call chill water return and chill water supply. So this line, for example, if I write some points, you see I'm considering this as say 0.1, this I'm considering as 0.2, this is 0.3, and say this is 0.4. So remember 0.1 to 2 is what? CHWS, chill water supply. And 0.3 to 0.4 we can consider as CHWR with respect to the system. If we talk about the chiller, this line we can call as an inlet, and this we can call as a supply to the chiller. So if you talk about the equipment, the case is going to be different. Here I'm talking about the supply return as with respect to the system. Okay, so with respect to the system, the supply to the chiller comes under return line, and supply from the chiller comes under supply line. Remember this at the time of pipe sizing. Also, we need to identify this direction. Next, so you see in as a cold water, loses the heat to the refrigerant, out as a chill water, and this chill water with the insulated pipe is going to supply to one more heat exchanger inside what? AHU. And you know what is AHU, or it can be AHU or it can be FCU as per the requirement. And in actual practice, you see in this drawing you'll find one AHU, but you see the pipe will continue and can connect to n number of FCU or AHU as per the capacity of the system. Okay, so you see this chill water will enter in cooling coil of AHU, and you know what will happen in AHU and this air site, same like a ductable split. Instead of connecting this pipe from the condensing unit, we are connecting the pipe from the chiller to supply the chill water instead of the refrigerant. So rest of the thing inside, you know, we can provide the fresh air. All this detail you can consider same like a ductable split, what we discussed, like call piece, then supply return, etc. Okay, and you see this, the cooling effect or the heat will extract from the room air, and the hot water, or we can say chill water return from this point 3 with this pump, and pump is used for what? To circulate the water. And in this case, this we can call as a primary pump, because this pump is used to supply the water to the chiller. In actual practice, you'll find the pump set here that we used to call as a secondary pump. That story we'll discuss later. We have as I said, this is part 1 of this system. The detail of this you'll find in chill water system. Chill water system I'm considering as part 5 of the syllabus now. Okay, so at this level, wantedly, I'm not explaining these options to avoid confusion, because if you know the system, if you know this concept, then we can think for the remaining in detail with the expansion tank, air separator, a lot of things with all hookups, nothing but valve package with more details. So you see, this pump is used to supply the water back to the chiller and the cycle continue. So this is about the air cooled chiller. And why we are calling air cooled chiller? Remember, we are cooling this condenser by using the air. That's the reason this system or this chiller we used to call as air cooled chiller. Compared with the water cooled chiller. In water cooled chiller, the condensing unit we are going to cool by using water, and water we are going to cool by using cooling tower. So you'll find one more circuit in water cooled chiller that I'll show you next. But before this, any confusion in this cycle online?
No,
Yeah, apart from this, you see this civil foundation, nothing but base is required to construct, and the dimension of this base you can find out from the shop drawing. And shop drawing means, at the time of construction, means at the time of installation. So the actual dimension of this foundation you can find out from the catalog of the manufacturer, and the same will follow in the shop drawing. Based on this, we'll construct. And before installing the chiller, or in between this base and this chiller, you'll find this spring isolators to cut the vibration, because in that you'll find the multiple compressors, so chance of transferring the vibration to the slab, and it's placed on the roof, so it may transfer the vibration and create noise, and it may affect to the strength of that structure also. So we require the spring isolator. 1 minute, I think I have an image for this. Here my example of a spring isolator. This is used to reduce the vibration. Not only for this, even for AHU or for ceiling suspended AHU or floor mounted AHUs, you'll find this isolators, which is required to cut the vibration.